Hello guys, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about basic market structure, talked about how to identify a bearish or bullish market. And in this video, we are going a step deeper into understanding how the market moves. So, let's dive in. But before we dive in, I do have one little request for the viewers viewing my posts. I do ask for you that you do subscribe to the channel, you like and comment and share the video. That way it keeps me motivated to post more videos like these because I do believe that this is the most educational videos, and it's free. I'm not doing this for anything in return, but I am asking for a little bit of subscriptions, likes, and comments. All right. So, anyways, let's begin. So, in this video, we are going to be talking about how the market moves from bearish to bullish, and how the market moves from bullish to bearish. All right. So let's begin. So, we are going to start by mapping the bearish market. And as I am going through the mapping, I am going to be asking questions throughout the video, and I'm going to be giving like a second for you to think of the answer, because the questions are sort of like the answers are sort of like in the last video. So if you're watching this video and you are able to get the answers correct, and then that means you are learning and you're growing. All right, so let's begin. So we're going to start by identifying the bearish market. So in the last video, what did we say about identifying a bearish market? We said the first thing you need to do is to what? Is to identify a higher high, right? And once you identify your higher high, you wanna see the market drop. Okay, sorry, let me just all right. After identify higher high, you wanna see the market create a what? You want to see the market creating a new lower low, right? Cool. After the market creates a new lower low, what do you want to see? You want to see a retracement, a pullback, right? And after this pullback, what do you want to see? We said that in order to see that this is a bearish market, you want to see the price respecting the previous high, right? Once you see that, this confirms to you that this is truly a bearish market. And how does price respect the previous high? It respects the previous high by not violating it, but by rather going down and violating the what? The previous low, right? And what did we say happens when price violates the previous low? We said price does what? Price creates a what? A break of structure. Okay? Price creates a break of structure. And then what else the price creates? Price also creates a new lower high, right? Why? Because this high is higher, is lower, this high is lower than this high. So this becomes our new what? Our new lower high. So we want to delete this, right? And then what did we say to look for again? We said you wanna anticipate, you wanna be expecting another what? Another retracement, another pullback, and then another respect of this high, right? And how does price respect the high? It respects it by violating the previous lower low right here, right? After it violates the lower low, what happens? Price creates a new lower low, and price creates a new what? Price creates a new lower high up in here. Price creates a new lower high, and price what? Price also what? Price also creates a new break of structure. All right, sorry, that's supposed to be break of structure. Price also creates a new break of structure, so we delete this. Okay, so price is bearish, right? Price is bearish. So how does price suddenly goes from creating a series of low lows and lower highs to creating higher highs and higher lows, right? So price does this by violating the previous lower high. Once price violates this high, this is what we call a change of character, right? It's called A change of character. It's called a CHoCH, right? It's called CHoCH. It's no longer a break of structure. Why? Because a break of structure represents the continuation of a certain trend. If price is going down and creating break of structures to the downside, this is a continuation. Every time price breaks the low, it's a continuation. But the moment price violates a previous lower high, price is now switching trend. It's not changing character from a series of lower lows and lower highs to a series of higher highs and higher lows. All right? Cool. So after price does this, what are you expecting now? Price has just given you a change of character. Meaning what? Meaning price has now shifted from giving lower prices to now giving higher prices. So what you are expecting next, you're expecting a respect of this low. You're expecting price to respect the lows and what? And violate the highs, right? And what happens when price violate the highs? After price violates the highs, price creates a what? Price creates a new break of structure to the upside, right? And then what does price do? Price also creates a lower low, sorry, a higher low, because this low is higher than this low. And if you are to take a look at this, like just look at this portion, looking at this portion alone. What did we say in the previous video? We talked about when we were identifying a bullish trend. What did we say? We said you need to identify a what? A lower low first in identifying a what? A bullish market. And then what else? And then you want to see price create a what? Create a higher high. So this is our higher high, right? Why is this our higher high? This is our higher high because this high is higher than this high. That's the logic behind it. This is our new higher high. This is no longer a lower high because this high just surpassed this high. So this higher high becomes the higher high because it surpassed this lower high, right? It's no longer lower lows. It's now higher highs and higher lows. This is our higher low, HL, because this low is what? Is higher than this low. Okay, cool. So now that you've seen what price, so that means before price even starts to go bearish, price was somewhat bullish. All right, okay, so let's continue. So price creates a new higher high, price creates a new higher low. What are you expecting again? You're also expecting another what? Another retracement. And then what? You're expecting what? A respect of this low, a respection of this low, and a what? And a violation of this high, right? Creating what? Creating a new higher high, right? And then what happens when price creates a new higher high? What happens? When price creates a new higher high, price gives us a new break of structure to the upside, right? What else does price create after it gives us a new break of structure? Price also creates a new what? A new higher low, because this low is higher than this low. So this becomes our new what? Our new higher low. Now, what happens when price shifts from bullish price action to bearish price action? Because if you take a look at this, we were bearish, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, right? Price has shifted from bearish to bullish. And then what are we expecting? We're expecting higher low because this low is now higher than this low, than this low. Just as same as this high is higher than this high. So this becomes our what? This becomes our higher high. This still remains our lower high. And this is our higher high. So you're expecting a what? Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now, what happens when price wants to create lower prices. What happens when price wants to create lower prices? So the same is true for the bearish to bullish. What you are typically expecting is that you're expecting price to what? Remember, we said that in the bearish trend, you're expecting price to violate a previous what? A previous lower high. The same is true for the bullish, but in reverse, you are now expecting price to what? You're now expecting price to violate the previous higher low. Once price does that, it creates a what? It creates a change of character to the downside. This right here, this was a change of character to the upside. This is a change of character to the downside because this is an indication of lower prices. What happens when after price does that? What are you expecting? You're expecting a pullback. After a pullback, you're expecting what? An impulsive move to the downside, right? Creating what? Creating a new lower low. Right? Just as same as we talked about here. We said for you to identify a bearish trend, you need to identify a higher high. In this instance, this is our higher high. And then we said here, you need to identify a new lower low. This is our new lower low. And then you want to see a respect of the highs. So what you want to see is you want to see price respect this high. So that means if price was to come up here and violate this, then this indicates to you that price does not want to give you lower prices. Price will just come back here again, and then price will what? And then price will give you higher prices again. So that means this would have been fake. This change of character would have been fake. But in this instance, price respected the low and gave you a new lower low, right? What happens when price creates a new lower low? After price creates a new lower low, price creates a new what? A new breakout structure to the what? To the downside. And also price creates what? Price also creates a new what? A new lower high. Why is it a lower high? Because this high is now lower than this high. So we disregard this. So as you can see, if price wants to create higher prices again, price will just need to down, and then you want to see price disrespect the previous lower high, and then you're expecting higher prices again and again and again. And that is typically the nature and movement of price. So